If you felt stuck trying to lose weight, you're not alone. Enter Weight Loss by Hers. It's designed to support you in reaching your goals. And Hers now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen. With Wegovy at Hers, lose up to 20% or more of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite, eat less, and keep weight off. Plus, Wegovy is the first GLP-1 available in a pill, so there are no needles needed. Everything is 100% online through Hers. You'll connect with a licensed provider who will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. And it doesn't stop there. Weight Loss by Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to 24/7 messaging with your care team and tons of in-app lifestyle and nutrition tips like recipes, meal plans, fitness videos, sleep content, and more. Even better, with a range of affordable GLP-1 options, Hers makes it simple to find an approach that fits your needs and your budget if eligible. You'll get a treatment plan personalized to you and unlimited dosage changes as needed. It's weight loss designed to work with your life. Ready to reach your goals? Visit forhers.com/women to get personalized, affordable care that gets you. That's forhers.com/women. forhers.com/women. Weight Loss by Hers is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk A/S. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play. Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, the podcast that explores the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. Wastelanders, Vault Dwellers, welcome back to the Fallout Lorecast. This is your host, Tom, or Robots, as usual, and I'm joined today by a wonderful cast of patrons who are here to talk with me about what they believe needs to happen with Fallout 5 in order to make it a successful game. We had the words Fallout 5 came out of Todd Howard's mouth just this last about 2 weeks ago at this point. And so we've been all thinking about it and what it might be like. And so we've got a variety of ideas. We're going to dig into this with each of our patrons. But before we do that, I need to introduce everybody. Let's say hi to each of them. And Dirt Farmer, you're back. Welcome back to the show. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. I'm glad to be here. So, yeah, you can just call me Dirt, too. I say that should be simpler this time. So,
all right. Sounds good. So Dirt's back. And then we've got Germinator joining us back from down under. Welcome back. I don't know if he's having internet issues. It seems like it's a little laggy on his side. So we'll just wave and say hi. Hopefully that clears up for you. Welcome back, Germinator. And then Maverick's joining us again. Maverick, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
How's it going, buddy?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
All right. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you made it. And then we have Nova. Nova's back.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? It's good to be here again.
Yeah. Welcome. And Lil Green joining us again. Lil Green, how you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Happy to be here as always.
Nice. Germinator, is your connection improved? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I lost you guys.
No problem.
For a second.
Yeah.
But you're back now.
Awesome. Well, welcome back to the show. All right. So, friends, Fallout 5, Todd Howard said the big words, and we were talking during the pre-show stuff about when the timeline for this. I've talked about this on the show before, but I'm going to lay this out for you guys in order to get this out of the way at the beginning. Right now, as of the end of June 2020, we are waiting for Starfield to be released. It will come out sometime early 2023. We know that Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production, and Starfield took an extra long amount of time because they made a lot of updates to the engine that they use for these games. And usually with an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout title, it takes them about 4 to 5 years of production in order to get to the point where they launch the game. So assuming that Elder Scrolls 6 has been in pre-production for like this last year, and it's going to take them another 4 years. That means that game's going to launch in about 2026, 2027. And if you add another 4 or 5 years on top of that for Fallout 5, it looks like we're at a 2030, 2031 launch date for Fallout 5, which means that we're not getting a new Fallout game for almost a decade still. I have some speculation about what they're doing with Microsoft and the potential of offboarding some of the development for something like a New Vegas 2 or something like that to another studio. That totally could be a thing. It totally might be something we get before a mainline game. But when it comes to Bethesda titles, they like to keep their mainline games with their main development studio in-house and oversee all of that stuff directly under Todd Howard. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a Fallout 5 that will come out sometime maybe 9 or 10 years from now still. So with that in mind, other than saying, well, they need to release it earlier or later, because I don't know that we're going to be able to adjust that. I'm more interested in what you guys think needs to be in the game. What do they need to do with the game to really make it stand out, taking a next step up, or return to some things that Fallout 4 didn't do that the previous games did? Those kinds of ideas. So why don't we just dive right into this? Who wants to start us off? Anybody like to set us up and go first? Feel free to unmute or raise your hand and let me know. I know you guys are doing things. Lil, I see Lil.
I don't know if it's me or Nova.
Either way, Lil, why don't you?
Right.
You kick us off, and then Nova can follow you up.
I think the one thing I would like to see would be some sort of vehicles, because I think because of Starfield, they're having some sort of vehicles in there. It would be nice to have like just something that like to help you get around, and so you're not walking all the time. And exploring would be a little bit more approachable. I don't know if that's the right word for it. So that you're not fast traveling all the time. So you can actually enjoy the maps instead of like just seeing specks of it as you go through it one time from one location to the next.
Yeah, you bring up a good point here. That's kind of the big joke, is that Fallout 2 had a car in it, and we haven't gotten a vehicle, like a rideable vehicle, not even riding on the back of a Deathclaw. Nothing. I mean, the closest you get is like power armor, or like getting on a vertibird that's already moving but not really using it. Like that's not really, you're not driving it, like you just like jumped on something and it moved, or being on the Pridwin.
Even if it's like just riding a Brahmin through the wasteland, that's better than nothing. Yeah,
I see where you're going there. And for a lot of people, you're right. They just kind of fast travel from one place of the map to another. It's a totally different experience if you force yourself to walk everywhere you go. But,
you get a nice sense of that in 76, where like if you're someone like me who doesn't have the most caps, you try and nickel and dime them. So like, all right, unless it's like you're traveling to the opposite side of the map, you walk, and like you still get to see all of the random encounters and even see things like the Mothman a little bit more easily because you're always walking.
Yeah. That's a good point. So obviously they've got more in the tech department now with Starfield having vehicles, like you said. Yeah. This very well could be a thing. Let's open this up. Who has some thoughts on this idea? Vehicles in Fallout 5. Do you think that this is a good idea? Do you think this is necessary? Maverick?
To be honest, I think that we've been waiting for them long enough that we've sort of been like, it's never going to happen. It's just sort of that thing, like you see, like in Fallout 4, the vertibirds, you see them moving, but you never actually get to fly them.
Right.
I would, if I were to get vehicles, I'd probably it'd probably be like a little dirt bike or a quad or something. I don't think it'd be as big as like a vertibird. You fly your own vertibird or whatever.
Maybe. I mean, maybe you could level up to a vertibird or steal one from the Brotherhood or something like that, right? But I think you're right. Having a smaller, more maneuverable vehicle to get around a, blasted, destroyed environment would make a lot more sense than, say, a car, because most of the roads are broken, right? Dirt, you wanted to chime in too. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking the same idea, but I was kind of worried about like how big do they make the map, and then if you have like a car and you're going fast and cruising across the whole map there, are you going to lose some of the detail in the smaller type of map? And so I was thinking like maybe instead of vehicles, just having like rideable Brahmin, like he was saying, and something kind of slower, like not super fast. And then maybe have like a vertibird as like end game type thing. Kind of once you beat the game, then you can travel around with that instead. But yeah, just kind of worried too big of a map, then you lose some of the detail in it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thoughts.
I understand. Yeah, I can understand that. I could also see limiting the fuel. Like you can fly a vertibird, but it takes a lot of fuel and fuel's hard to come by. So maybe you only use it for certain missions or quest lines or just to really quickly get from one place to another, but you're not just like using it all the time, right? Something like that. So Leo's raising his hand. Germinator wants to chime in.
Yeah, I'm thinking the vehicles could be more of a end game kind of tool, just like Liberty Prime was back in Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so like for the most part, you play the game without vehicles, but that's something you unlock right at the end?
Yeah, or even Brahmin at the start, and then slowly work into an end game vehicle like a highwayman or even a tank, who knows?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like imagine, I mean, if groups like the Brotherhood are piecing together old tech, you could have working tanks. Like you could. Like what if you have to take out like the super mutant menace or something and now you've got a tank to shoot some sort of behemoth with? That sounds pretty freaking cool. Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on vehicles?
I have a couple ideas. I think that would be pretty interesting.
Nova?
Like one thing I would love to see if they do implement vehicles would be a kind of a tiered system where you have as you have to find different technical, like you have to find people with different technical abilities in order to build different types of vehicles or maintain the vehicles even. Well, like the wear and tear, like how power armor does in 476, where it's instead of the entire armor itself, it's separate different components.
Yeah.
So that would be a big limiting factor. I think it would kind of equalize, it would kind of balance it because it's more than likely going to take place around the time of Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, like 210 years after the Great War. Mm-hmm. And so you can imagine that the components aren't going to be very good. So that could be a cool limiting factor where you have to, you have to build, it could be another stat boost really or it could be another stat that you can put in as like mechanic basically. Yeah.
Well, and with the whole, like the robots stuff in Fallout 4, the different components you could use to build a robot and having the intelligence in order to do that, so like you're saying, if you have a low intelligence stat or you have somebody in your community who has like a minor amount of being able to do stuff, maybe you're able to piece together, a dirt bike, right? But if you have higher intelligence or you have somebody, maybe you have a real mechanic who joins your group, now you're having somebody who's actually fixing up a car and keeping it running for you, or, an all-terrain vehicle or a vertibird. That's a cool idea.
That would be what I would really look for, because would be very uncommon knowledge for someone to know how to not even just construct a vehicle, but maintain it within the post-nuclear world, because it's, like we said, 210 years roughly about after the Great War happened. And so it'd be very uncommon knowledge and something that's very niche. So you'd have to get someone who, for some reason, was very obsessed with pre-war vehicles, convince them to help you build a vehicle and teach you what they know, kind of like the power armor perk would be, and how to use and maintain it. And also you have to go find your fuel. So I'd assume other fusion cores as well, maybe coolant too, which would be I imagine kind of like a Daisy kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of imagining with cars.
Yeah. I totally get the picture. Here's another tweak on that idea. What if the individual components can be damaged and need repair?
I said that.
Oh, did you say that? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's how I opened it, was
like they break off and stuff,
just like with individual power armor in Fallout 4 and 76.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking individual components, but also like imagine driving a car down the road and all of a sudden you take a bunch of shots and then one of the wheels flies off, right? like actually visually falls apart, not just like
a raider hits you with a missile and stuff.
Yeah, it blows off like the two doors on the side of your car and now there's just no doors there, like that kind of thing. Like your power armor takes damage and it just isn't as useful, right? But in this case, you visually have the things breaking and like falling to pieces.
That would be awesome, and I think that would be necessary. I think it would really be necessary because you would have to be very careful while driving those vehicles over the ruined roads, or even if you're going off road too, because there's random junk there. The roads are worse than where I live, where there's massive 10-foot potholes instead of the 5-foot we have here.
What about like driving over ghouls? Like you can like put a plow on the front and just like, come into a bunch of rabid ghouls out in the middle of a field and just plow.
Oh, I had a glowing one. Activate windshield wipers.
Yeah. All of a sudden you can't see out the window because there's just like green goo all over your screen. Yeah. Oh man,
that'd be pretty cool as well. Just a lot more dynamic too.
Yeah.
Well, then if you had like a top tier kind of tank almost you could kind of live into, that'd be pretty sweet. Or like a camper or RV or something like that.
Well, that would be the APC. You could turn into a mobile armored vehicle.
Right.
It'd be an APC, an armored picnic carrier, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have a little bed in it and a little repair area. This is a really cool idea.
Awesome.
This is a really fun idea. Any last thoughts from you before we move on? I'd love to we could do an entire episode about something like this, but we got to get to everybody. Any other thoughts?
No, honestly, the transportation was like a big thing that'd be cool, just because like it's something that they've implemented in Skyrim even, or because you have mounts.
You can fly a dragon too.
There's that too. I have to admit I haven't played Skyrim, so
but there's mounts. You can get on a horse and
I know about the horses, but no, I feel like some sort of mounted transportation at least would be nice to have.
Yeah, I agree. Cool idea. You got our wheels turning on this one. I think that's fun. Who wanted to go next? Was it Nova?
Yeah, it was me.
Nova, what are you thinking?
I was thinking that I would really love a continuation of another storyline, like because just like how New Vegas was basically a continuation of Fallout 2 and Fallout 1 was continued, or Fallout 2 was continued to Fallout 1. I would love to see what the Capital Wasteland or what Boston's like in the future too, or like it was adjacent to it though. So like it just like how New Vegas is adjacent to, it takes place mostly in Nevada. It doesn't take place in California.
Right.
Like instead of, I don't know the geography of New England very well, but a state next to Massachusetts, I think would be really interesting to see.
Well, New York is kind of the big one that's also up there, and it's between Boston and DC. It's a big important historic city.
They need to have Madison City instead of Diamond City.
Yeah, that's true.
The Yankees versus the Red Sox again. Yeah, I don't know. That is something I would really like to see, and then a lot of pushover from, like, obviously the Brothers of Steel would continue their annexation or continue their conquest of the areas up there, and then there would have to be obviously a brand new enemy. Like I didn't put very much thought into this. I've been busy all day, but like that's kind of what I was hoping would be like. What would be it would expand the world of Fallout a lot more than we already have, but at the same time you have a lot of references to the previous game, so like a lot more than what they included in Fallout 4. I love Fallout 4 to death, but I kind of wish that there was a lot more, like there's a lot more insight into the current state of the Capital Wasteland right now, of the current state of DC, because all we know is from Deacon basically saying, oh, the water's potable, and also that there's some railroad activity still in DC. But besides that, though,
we get little hints. That's about it. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. Continuations, because New Vegas was close enough to the events of the first two Fallouts that there's a lot of people who refer to them, and there are characters that kind of tie back to it a lot more than 4 to 3. So, I mean, what I'm picking up that you're putting down here is if you had a Fallout New York and then references to both those locations, for the previous locations from 4 and 3, that could be a really cool central hub, not just geographically, but also story-wise between those two zones. You guys think New York makes sense? It would still be a new location too. It wouldn't be going back to an old map.
either New York or Baltimore, really, because isn't Baltimore directly between those two, or is Baltimore farther north of Boston? I forget.
That's a good question.
Baltimore's south.
U.S. map.
It's in Maryland.
Yeah, there.
Yeah,
exactly.
You get into the New England area, and I don't live up there, so yeah,
it's
the shape of everything starts to get a little foggy.
Massachusetts, New York, and then it'd be like New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland.
Yeah. Baltimore is just a little bit north of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And then if you continue further north, you get to places like Philadelphia, New York, and then you're up into Connecticut and Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe maybe it's a city that is more centrally located between Boston and DC would be a better location. So possibly like Hartford, Connecticut, or something like that would be really interesting. And it can also expand upon, because Hartford already is a very industrial city. There's still a lot of factories there. And so you could play that off of like expanding the Sino-American War a lot more as well, where it becomes like the city industrial sector exploded because all of a sudden, we need all these arms, we need all this armor, we need food, we need medicine, we need ammunition, we need armor to fight the Chinese. And then you could use that as really a setting to explore a lot more of the Sino-American War and see the effects on the American population, because we know for a fact that it was a lot of it was negative, where the U.S. government basically became a tyrannical dictatorship with the president as the head of it, and also the head of the enclave. And so I would really like to see a lot more of the Sino-American War too. Yeah,
that's kind of a secondary point. Yeah, I mean, who knows? With a larger map, you could even take an entire area like Connecticut and kind of work it in, or
just the entire state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, the state of Rhode Island. Like, you could totally do a zone like that. Here, let's open this up to everyone else. What do you guys think about this idea of revisiting a location that's close to 3 or 4 and being able to pull in more of like, this is what has now happened in those locations, and kind of ties the storylines back a little bit more firmly?
I think it'd be an awesome idea, and especially if you get to like kind of go back to maybe just not like the whole map of Fallout 3, but like maybe just a little bit of stuff on the northern part of the map, just kind of see what changed and just a little sliver of it. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Lil Green, what do you think?
I think it'd be kind of cool, like even if it was like a New York, because you could honestly incorporate some parts of New Jersey, so you could get like urban areas. And also there's a place down by me actually used to protect New York City during the Cold War, Sandy Hook Beach. Like, it still has like Nike missiles like set up, ready to go, radar stations like all throughout the place. So it's just one of those things of like, you could like incorporate that like as a protection thing. So it'd be cool to just see like landmarks like that nobody knows about outside of like my area, like in it.
Yeah. And I mean, you could even like, they often take these maps and they take large areas and they kind of truncate them a little bit. So you could even have a part up on the top part of the map that's kind of like upstate New York a little bit, where it's more rural. A place that's like Long Island, so kind of more seaboard kind of stuff. Manhattan area, that kind of thing. And then
like Lower
Jersey.
Manhattan. You get your like the rural New York, and then you get suburbia New Jersey. So because like it's like since I'm from the area, like it doesn't take that long to get to like each spot. Like it's on like an hour drive from New York City, an hour and a half drive from like the New York state border. So it's
it's relatively close together. Everything's kind of just like packed in.
And like the differences are like very true, because like once you go over the New York border, like it is very small townish, but you do get like some suburban areas. And then like down by me is like true suburbia. You might get some farmland, but like it's like few and far between. Where at least where I am. But it's just like, it'd be nice to see just another part of the map, and like if they can incorporate Boston or DC, because they're kind of the same distance between each other from like at least where I am.
New York is kind of the middle point. It is like exactly
really
the middle point. Right. Yeah, so, that is interesting. I could totally.
Yeah, I didn't realize how far south New York was. I always thought New York was closer to Boston. Honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No,
It's one of those things where like you don't study maps all the time, but then when you finally do look at one and then see it in the context of other things, you're like, oh yeah, look at that. That thing really is there, or that's actually west of this thing, and I didn't realize. Well,
I'm gonna sound like a terrible person, but I have family that lives in New York. My stepdad is from New York, so I really should know more about New York.
Yeah, well, it's just geography.
Yeah, like I think for me, Boston is a 4-hour drive, and I think DC is 3 or 4. I forgot. Like I was there once, but I drove in the middle of the night, like pedal to the metal to get back home once, but that's about it. Mm-hmm. So it's seems far, but it's not. Right.
Man, we're losing. Our truck drivers are dropping off. I think they're having they're out on the road having some connection difficulties. Any other thoughts on this whole revisiting, like being close enough to 3 and 4 in order to kind of carry events from those stories forward? Because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. I mean, you've got stuff that happens with the Enclave in 3. You've got the events with the Institute and some of the unique things that happen in 4, the Brotherhood stuff. You could very much canonize certain endings or a specific ending and then have that carry over, especially if it's in a location that's close enough to continue some of that conversation. What do you guys think about that stuff?
Well, I was just thinking about the canon type thing and like, what are they actually going to do with Fallout 4? And yeah, it'd be super interesting to see how that's going to affect the next game, especially if it is in New York too. Yeah, I'd like to find out like what is the canon ending to that, because we do get a certain amount of confirmation about events in Fallout 3 in Fallout 4 to know that like, oh, this is basically what happened, or this is what happened with the Brotherhood specifically. We get a lot of that stuff. Nova, what do you think?
I'm always very, very irritated with the deception of like, oh, this could be canon, but this could also be too canon. This also could be canon in the endings. Mm-hmm. And I love completed stories that are left, hanging on the fence saying that, oh, this could be true, or this could also be true too, like Occam Razor. They always drive me up a wall. And that's why I'm a very big fan of continuation stories, where it tells with absolute certainty what happened in the previous book or the previous chapter. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the consequences of it, and this is what's happening right now, because there's so many different things that could potentially, like, there's so many different realities that could exist within Fallout. Just Fallout 4 itself being like, if it was just left in an echo chamber by itself, there's so many different consequences with that reality, with all the different endings that are possible. I mean, like, you could literally have the minimum of all people destroy both the Institute and the Brotherhood and send the Brotherhood packing back to DC.
Right.
And then ally with the Railroad so then the Railroad becomes basically a subordinate agency within the Minutemen to protect the synth. So it'd be kind of like,
right.
Like giving the synths rights as well, like the remaining synths rights as well. Like, that is one possible ending. One other one is where the Brotherhood is still simply just trumps over everyone with Liberty Prime and just decimates all the other factions.
Oh, sure. Or the Institute. Or like your character takes over the Institute and then they do stuff, and that could be good or bad depending on what your character decides, right? Like, you're not Father, but you've got a lot of power at your disposal.
Yeah, and I dedicate way too much of my brain power to trying to like think about what could be the actual ending of this, or what would be the most logical ending of it. Mm-hmm. But it's always impossible to make an assertion that says, okay, this is going to be the correct ending. This is how the story will continue on from from this final point that we've created. It's impossible, and that's always driven me crazy. So that's why I'm a very big fan of continued stories on role-playing games. And that's one of the reasons why I love New Vegas so much, because you can look back to the history of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 and see the lore that led up to New Vegas and why the NCR is the way it is, why House is the way he is, and why the master, or like why Tabitha is on her hill screaming at everyone else to kill. They say, "I want to kill you."
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Everything connects back. Yeah,
yeah. She's pissed off because the master lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maverick, I know you've been kind of popping in and out with connection stuff. Can you hear us? I wanted to get your 2 cents on this before we move on.
No, I've been getting phone calls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're talking about revisiting some of the events from 3 and 4 in a continuation of those stories in a location that's close to either of those locations. You think that's a good idea for 5?
Well, this is my own personal opinion. I think they should move inward from the coast.
So
I think that they, from like the plains to, like Kentucky, maybe, or if we're going to stay on the coast, go south.
Okay, so a very different location, and that would make it harder to wrap up some of the storylines from 3 and 4. Because Nova's example was New Vegas was close enough to the locations in Fallout 1 and 2 that it was able to kind of carry that storyline forward. So you would rather have a new location that's very different.
Yeah, but I can also see where players like such as myself and all of us here would want to see which ending was canonized, or what based on Fallout, based on this new game, what events in Fallout 4 were canonized based on what the player did, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I think it makes sense. I think that's something everybody would be a fan of. I hope. One of the reasons, and I'll just say this to close up this topic because we've got to move on, but one of the reasons why they were able to do this so well with New Vegas is that some of the original writers were still, from 1 and 2, were ended up working on New Vegas because they were part of Obsidian. I'm wondering, there's been a lot of turnover. There's a lot of many years that go by in the project from 3 to 4 to now 5. I wonder how many of the original writers are still at Bethesda. And if there's anybody who has like a real vision of that, who would be able to carry it forward in a really satisfying way. And I don't know that we have an answer to that question, but it's kind of an open, like, I wonder if that's still there, or if they will still be there in, 6 years or whenever they're, 4 or 5 years when they're really fleshing out the story. So just something to ponder. But yeah, we're a fun topic, Nova. Good one. We got to take a quick break and thank our patrons, and we've got some new reviews to read out, and then we'll be back to talk with the rest of you guys about some of your theories. So don't go anywhere. Here we go. It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable, and I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
Hello there, old chap. Good to see another of General Atomic's finest, still eager to serve.
All right. So big thanks to you guys specifically for joining me and helping to support the show, and all the rest of our patrons, and our newest patron, Derek P. Welcome aboard, Derek. And let's see, we got to shout out our Sentry Bot. I'm the Creeper. Welcome. Thank you Welcome to our new patrons. Thank you to our old patrons, all 54 of you guys, for helping to support me and the show. I really appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, you guys make this possible. You make doing this as a full-time job possible for me, and I can't tell you how much that has changed my life. And so thank you very, very, very much to all of you. If you are interested in joining us on the next one of these chats, or just getting ad-free episodes or episodes a day early, any of that stuff, patreon.com/Fallout Lorecast is the place to go do it. Check out all the different tiers, see what you like, see what you want to get, see how much you want to chip in. Even t-shirts. People at our tier 4, those of you who are joining us here, if you stick around, every 3 months you get a new t-shirt. So it's all sorts of awesome stuff to get with that. Let's do some reviews. I've had a mix of different kinds of episodes lately. I haven't been able to catch up on some reviews. These are all pretty short, so it should be pretty quick. In fact, some of them even have like Marauder 17. Read this, please. From the United States, 5 stars, smiley face. That's the review, smiley face. So thank you, Marauder, for smiley face. We got another one that's very similar to that one. Cool Mango Master in the US wrote, just what I was looking for, 5 stars. Winky tongue out face, peace sign. You guys are getting real concise with these reviews. Other than that, we've got some with actual words. John Caps Pipes, am I saying this right? From Great Britain writes, outstanding, 5 stars. Your one-stop shop for Fallout lore, except no imitation. It's short and sweet. Thank you so much for that. Then we have the Warlock Gamma, who, this one's longer, 5 stars from the US. Great podcast for Fallout lovers. I've been a huge fan of the Fallout series for years and have always been interested in the lore of that world, but have never wanted to put in the time and effort to research it myself. This podcast has been a great resource for learning. Did I say resource for learning about my favorite fictional world. Absolutely recommended to all Fallout fans. Thank you so much, Warlock Gamma. We've got a few more left. Space Otter, awesome. 14. Awesome is not part of the name. That was just my explanation. I don't know. Space Otter sounds cool. From the US writes, 5 stars. Got me back into Fallout. I've played Fallout since a little between 3 and New Vegas, but I played them all multiple times and grew tired. But I got a new job and found this podcast and have watched almost every episode in the matter of 3 weeks. Look forward to more great work. Keep it up. Awesome. Space Otter, awesome name, awesome review. Thank you so much. And the last one is from Tixyr, Txyrr. In the United States. I don't know how to pronounce that, but if you do, let me know. This one says, makes playing the games more enjoyable, 5 stars. This is my first podcast I've ever consistently listened to, and I've got to say, the way that this show gives you context and lore is a great, in a way that's entertaining. Playing the games are so much fun, more fun. Man, I'm messing this up. More fun by knowing a little more about everything. Keep up the great work. Thank you so very, very much. And every review, every rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify is a huge help. So thank you to all of you guys. All right. That's it for the middle break. We got to get back with the rest of the our guests and some of their thoughts. So here we go.
If you have any questions about Nuka World, I'd be delighted to answer them.
All right. We're back. Maverick, Dirt, who wants to go next? It's your turns to chime in. Dirt?
Yeah, I can go. So what I was kind of thinking of was not really storyline based, but more of just kind of the general map wherever they do it. It's something about Fallout 4. It seemed so kind of clean and just, I don't know, something about the colors and everything. But I was thinking about like Fallout New Vegas. You're in the desert and there's like sandstorms blowing and stuff. And that was one game where I always felt like really threatened until you got to New Vegas. And then it's like a complete contrast and it's nice bright lights and kind of a safer feeling.
Yeah, it's a big contrast to like the just orangey yellow of the desert. And yeah.
And so that's like what I was thinking was if they did it in like New York, you could have like part of the town's blown up, say, and I say just kind of really super unsafe and everything. And then you get like Times Square with all the shining lights and they could do it sort of built up type of thing.
Oh, like it was like repaired? Like that's a place that people have turned into like, almost like that's the Diamond City of the map is Times Square and they fixed it up.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah, just have that complete contrast to it. So yeah, you have a place where you do feel safer and like out of the wilderness. But yeah, I like kind of the more survival-ish type feeling to the game where you don't feel safe sitting out in the middle of the highway in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah,
that was what I was thinking.
With a New York setting, you've also got the subways. You've got a lot of underground stuff, like sewers and subways. There's multiple levels under the city. And if parts of the city have been blown up, parts of that could even be blown open, and you could easily climb down into it. And then think about all the humans maybe surviving down there because it's shelter, but then also all the critters and mutant crocodiles or whatever are in the sewer system, right? Ghouls, super mutants.
So yeah, that would be super awesome. I didn't even think of the subway system. Yeah, you could do all kinds of stuff with that. And and then even just like having a settlement down in the subway station and everything like that.
Yeah.
That would be really awesome.
Like you take the subway part of 3 and just crank it up to 11, really. And then you have like subway lines and places where the subway lines cross over into sewage systems, and also like little dungeons and little story bits and little settlements, and then just the dangers of traversing anywhere down there in the dark.
Oh, I say, yeah, they could make that super creepy in the subway system, especially just with better graphics and everything compared to Fallout 3. And I said that could be really nasty. So, yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you're thinking like go back to some of the dangerous feeling of the stark and dangerous feeling of the majority of the wasteland with these like places of contrast where like it feels like it's a safe area with humanity, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like you're trying to get to the next town. Yeah, like
right.
That where then you can just take a break. There's nothing coming. I say just kind of a safe feeling spot. But
I think you're right. I think the color palette has a lot to do with that too. Like 3, everything was very green and gray. 4, everything's like this drab brown and yellow. What would you have for the color palette for like New York?
See, I was kind of thinking about that because Fallout 3, that was very, very green. I don't know if that was kind of the right color. It was really good. I think just because it was the first one.
Yeah, well, it was unsettling. I mean, there's something unsettling about greens. Like it feels sickly, right?
Yeah, but then even with like New Vegas, there's times where the sun's shining and it looks really nice out, but you're like, it's not so bad out here now. And then a Cazador comes and attacks you. And but that's,
yeah,
it could be interesting. Or even if they did it kind of like with Fallout 76, where you have different zones and they're completely different. Even that would be good too. So
yeah, I like this. I like where this is going. What do you guys think? Let's open this up. You guys have thoughts on this one? Lil?
I was actually going to say, what Dirt just said on the end of that is depending on where you are, really dictates the feeling and theme, the color theme. Mm-hmm. Because like if you're like deep in the city and like the ruins, like it's like very gray. There's no greenery. There's no plant life. It's just buildings, concrete. And then
yeah. I think that's I'm on the same vibe with you here on this because I was trying to find a way to express it, but like the color of concrete.
Yeah, it's just concrete and metal. There's no color to New York City. There really isn't. And then like right. Where you can get some is Times Square, so you could actually like put in like all like the TV screens and stuff like that. That's your New Vegas.
Right.
That's where all the
Central
color and all
Park.
the excitement is. Central Park, even that's some greenery.
Yeah.
So, and then like if depending on where you go from there, like it could be like your like the drab but slightly colorful like nature of like 4 and the surrounding areas.
Yeah, once you get out of the city.
Yeah, but then also like it'd be kind of cool to see what they would do with like really historical stuff. Like, would they keep the Statue of Liberty? Would they keep Ellis Island? Would they do something interesting there? So it was like an end game thing, or like a random excursion of like what's going on there, because you can tell there's something there. It's like, oh, I know of Ellis Island. Let's go there. Oh, I know of the Statue of Liberty. Let's go there. So
one of the things that you get in a lot of these post-apocalyptic games is the idea that like nature is taking back the cities. So assuming that it's not irradiated to the point where things can't grow back, would you guys want to see like vines covering skyscrapers or like giant plants? I mean, if you have like the giant plant section of 76, like giant plants that have now taken over buildings. And so now the buildings are like these like weird plant / concrete glass mixtures and those kinds of things.
I mean, That'd be kind of interesting, especially in the Central Park area.
Yeah. Like, what if there's what if there was a vault under Central Park?
Oh.
And it had to do with nature and the plant life sprouts out from there.
The Museum of Natural History. That's where it should be.
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, because it has a very nice underground area already, believe it or not, because it's built into the subway systems.
Oh,
Isn't there a zoo in Central Park, too?
There is a Central Park Zoo.
I say, so you could have some, like, all kinds of different wild animals out there, too. That would be...
A giant gorilla that climbs up on the buildings?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That would be amazing. Nova, Maverick, what do you guys think?
Matt, are you going? No, okay.
No, you're good, Nova. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I do kind of like the idea of a vault underneath Central Park at the same time. Also, the Museum of Natural History, where you could be like Night in the Museum or something like that, where it's all animatronic.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, it's all run down animatronics that have just kind of like because it's Fallout, they wouldn't just be animatronic, they'd be actual robots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that just look like animals.
I think that'd be really cool, and I think the vault underneath Central Park could be like a rendition of, like, it'd be the sister vault of Vault 22 or something like that from New Vegas. Mm-hmm. I think it would be pretty interesting where, except like it could be partially successful where they use Central Park itself as a test bed. You go down and explore the still functional vault. I think that'd be pretty cool if it was still functional. You could see, you talk to the scientists like, why are there 30-foot vines going up the Empire State Building? Don't worry about it.
Right, and a giant gorilla. Yeah,
exactly.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think they were pretty interesting, and also would love to see a square city instead of a diamond city. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like have a comparison between those.
Okay.
well, like it could be a funny reference. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, you'd see, oh, this is Madison Square City now.
Madison Square Garden. I was just about to say that.
Or Madison, yeah.
Right, Square City, Madison Square City.
Granted, Madison Square Garden is a circle now, so.
Yeah, Circle Garden City.
Whatever, Times Square, then whatever, it could be there too.
Yeah.
Or they both have the same name, but they compete to be like, we were the first. No, we were the first.
Square off.
Yeah, they're two communities are mad at each other. That's hilarious. Maverick, what do you think? What do you think about New York? You've been to New York, right? Maverick, are you there? I know you're out on the road, right? So you might have some connection issues. I don't know if Maverick's here. Well, maybe he'll be able to chime back in a little bit. This is a really cool idea, Dirt. I think there's some something to be said about going back to the dangerous feelings and not to say that Fallout 4 wasn't dangerous, and not to say that Fallout 76 isn't also dangerous when you go certain places, and especially as you're doing the leveling up stuff. Like, once you hit like level 600 or something, like, obviously it's not the same challenge, but the danger, the way the world feels dangerous. Like, we've gotten Fallouts that are more green and lush again, right? But so why don't we go back to something that's more stark and maybe has different biomes, but is like mostly stark and dangerous feeling. I like that. I like that idea. Post-apocalyptic, you know. Maverick, are you able to hear us? I know he hasn't gone yet, and I'm hoping he will get back and connect. So Germinator had to disconnect, was losing service, but left us a note and says, gonna lose reception shortly, so I'll punch my two main ideas in here quickly. Unreal Engine 5 and a crafting karma system like New Vegas had. The Unreal Engine 5, I don't know if Bethesda, their main studio, is ever going to switch to another engine, although Unreal Engine 5 does a lot of good things. They just invested a lot of money in upgrading the creation engine, so I would imagine, unless there's some real main reason to move away from that they're probably not going to. But hopefully it does, you know, in 10 years from now when the next Fallout game comes out, hopefully it's not as buggy and you know, the engine works great. But I want to open the other one up to you guys. What do you think about the crafting karma system from New Vegas? You guys feel like that needs to come back? I mean, the karma system was more of a legitimate thing in Fallout 3. It didn't have as much of an impact in New Vegas, even though it was there. But the crafting system was definitely a New Vegas thing. Dirt?
So I really enjoyed that part of it. Yeah, the crafting. And then I say the karma, that was nice too. But what I actually really enjoyed thinking about that was like how you could wear different clothes to be associated with different factions too.
Yeah.
I think that would also be cool. along with that other stuff.
The more like old school role play type stuff where there's lots of different variables. And if you encounter somebody and these are the variables, like I'm wearing this clothes and I'm this level of karma, then they're more likely to do this thing.
Yeah, it's like a disguise type of thing. Like, I can go into this faction's base if I'm wearing this and have not terrible karma with them.
Right. Lil, did you have thoughts on this too?
I mean, the crafting system from New Vegas,
I never engaged with it much. Are you like me?
I didn't.
Yeah, I feel like you're like me.
If any crafting, I wouldn't mind the system from like 4 or even 76. Especially the only thing I would say is the scrapping mechanic needs to be like what is from 76, because 4 was horrible.
So the improvements that 76 has.
Yeah.
I did like the one feature I did like about New Vegas was if you had 2 of the same weapon, you could use one of the weapons to repair the other.
That I would actually like to see come back, because it gave it more of a challenge. Like, because you could use the same exact weapons like from the start of the game to the end of the game in 4, but like it gave the extra challenge of like, oh, my weapons and my armor like degrade and I need to fix them. So I did enjoy that.
And it was an easy fix. It wasn't something that was difficult.
You didn't need a repair bench.
Right. You could just go, oh, where's the other 10 millimeter gun? Oh, somebody dropped one. Now I'll use this to fix the other one.
But like if you wanted to do like maybe a survival mode, do like say like, oh yeah, you can't fix on the fly. You have to go to a repair bench or have a repair kits.
Yeah. Interesting. Nova, what do you think? Did you like that system?
I've always liked Fallout 4's and 76 crafting system a lot better than Fallout New Vegas. I really enjoyed New Vegas crafting system mainly because I could just spam create a bunch of doctor's bags and repair kits and be good forever. I never had to really worry about my guns degrading or my limbs being crippled by the boomers.
Right.
But I really liked the 4 and 76 crafting system a lot better though.
Yeah. What about the karma stuff?
The karma stuff, I really did enjoy. I would like my first goal would almost always be to get NCR armor so that I could kind of walk around within their bases and not really be accosted by the MPs or anything like that. That would be my always first goal. So I always really liked the karma. I really missed that in Fallout 4 and 76.
Faction karma specifically. And all of that. Yeah. Interesting.
I never really exploited all that much. I just went for just to get the combat armor and so I could hang around. But other than once I was past that phase, though, I never really paid much attention to it because I always used the advanced combat armor Mark II or the Riley's Ranger armor. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Maverick, are you back yet? I don't think he is. I think we've permanently lost Maverick, but he's still on the screen, so he's with us in spirit. We do have some comments from chat. Edward H in chat says, no Brotherhood in Fallout 5? How would you feel about a Fallout without the Brotherhood? Like in New Vegas, they're there, but they're a very minor piece of the main story, right? Like they're very small. 3 and 4 have a lot of Brotherhood. What do you guys think about a 5 with a minimal or no Brotherhood?
I think it depends on kind of where you're at. It depends on what coast you're on. If you're going to be kind of East Coast, like near the Capital Wasteland and everything, I think you got to have Brotherhood back in there just to see what kind of happened after Fallout 3 and everything. So, and Fallout 4 too.
Yeah. Okay. So you're pro Brotherhood. Who else is definitely needs to be more Brotherhood? Anybody else? Well,
I personally don't mind the Brotherhood. So having at least a small role like there was in New Vegas would be nice. But being on the East Coast, but also depends on, like the timeline. But but I wouldn't also mind seeing something like an offshoot of the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know that those do exist. I
would like to see like the Brotherhood, but maybe not in the same capacity that we are used to.
Right, kind of a twist on it.
Yeah.
I mean, we did get some twist from 3 to 4. Like the ideology shifted with the leaders.
Exactly. So like something like that would be nice because they're in two different spots of the country. What would somewhere else be? Like they still follow like the same code possibly, or they do more of like a background role like they are in New Vegas.
Right. Yeah, Nova, what do you think? Could you deal with the no brotherhood?
So honestly, I could go either way, just as long as it makes sense lore-wise. But I think personally, my biggest preference my best preference would be it's like the Brotherhood is whispered about. Like if Fallout 5 would take place simultaneously as Fallout 4, and then people in say if we are doing New York, then the people in New York whispers like, "Oh, did you see the giant zeppelin or the giant airship that flew by like a couple months ago or something like that?" And then along as the campaign progresses, as the story progresses, then you begin to hear about the massive battles that are happening between the Brotherhood. Or there's called like something other name and in the Institute, which like obviously the people wouldn't know there until you run some random travelers. But I think it would be really interesting though is if they came in as a DLC though.
I see. Yeah, so they're not part of the original like main game, but then you add them in later.
Yeah, they're kind of just an expeditionary force, so it's not overwhelming like they're not a main faction, but they're the main faction of one of the main factions of the DLC, but they're not become a main faction or a main player within the actual area. They're like a scouting force, like whatever Paladin Dance's team was that you can help out and recover a lot of technologies and recover a lot of technology in assaults, different locations that they think need to be cleared of ferals or Sumians or whoever we're going to face in Fallout 5.
Or whatever mission that they're currently on. But the idea being that it would be a minor group that kind of comes into the story, but the main story doesn't focus on them.
Yeah. Because I do think, honestly, the Brotherhood of Steel is very worn out. They are they become almost a cliche at this moment within Fallout, and I really do kind of want to. I want to diversify a lot more of. I want to diversify and explore a lot more of what the world has to offer, rather than keep defaulting to the same factions over and over again. Yeah. So like what Little Green was saying, have a new faction that kind of fills the same role but has a completely different feeling to it. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you could still have a power armor technology focused faction that is very different and has a different ideology, has a different origin, the symbolism, all of that stuff. I get why they keep going back to the Brotherhood, because they're popular and they're also iconic for the series. Like when you think about even just the artwork on Fallout 1, you've got the Brotherhood soldier in the power armor there in the front of the thing. Like that is one of the main components. It's almost as entrenched as Nuka-Cola in the series. So I get why they keep going back to it, but I also agree it would be nice to have something else a little bit different. That's part of why I think New Vegas was fun, is that we get these other factions. You know, there's House and there's the Legion, and like the NCR is a big piece of it. They were a big piece of 1 and 2, but you know, they come back as kind of a primary focus instead of the Brotherhood. So I could totally see that. Ben of Temeria says, what if you create your own faction for the Brotherhood, or just your own factions in general? I think you posted something about that before. I think that would be fun too. Ways of foundation, like affecting the world by forming groups and, you know, whatever, and kind of focused around what you are doing rather than integrating yourself with something that already exists. I don't know how that works gameplay wise though, but that could be really cool. Well, guys, we're getting to the end of the show. Maverick, are you back yet? I was hoping we'd be able to get him to chime in with some thoughts, but it looks like he's disconnected, or at least connected, but not actually there. Guys, we could talk forever about this stuff, but we've got a bunch of new ideas. Maybe we could even dig into a little bit more next week. Some people were posting things about locations. We did a whole episode once where we chatted about potential future locations for games, and whether in the US or outside of the US. Maybe we go back and revisit some of that stuff sometime in the future. That could be fun as well. But thank you everybody for joining us. Chat, thank you for being here. We're going to go back through, if you have something you're working on that you want to talk about, or ways that people can get a hold of you, or you just want to say thanks for being here, bye everybody, whatever you want. Now's your opportunity. Dirt, let's start with you. We'll just go through the list. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, I said thanks for having me on here again. And if anyone's interested to see what I'm doing on our RL farm here up in Montana, I do a YouTube channel with that. So we just got a drone, so we got all sorts of footage with that. So
nice.
MTGT Dirt Farmer, or you can ping me on the Discord. I'm always hanging around. So
awesome. New tech. That's cool, man. Thanks for joining us. Lil Green, you got anything you want to shout out or ways people can get a hold of you?
I really don't have anything going on. I do have some shoots planned for the near month and a half. But other than that, get a hold of me in the Discord, or if you want to check out some of my work, you can find me on Instagram at Little Green Photography. So that's really all I got.
Awesome.
Always happy to be on here.
Yeah, happy to have you join us again. And Nova, you got anything? I know you've got some stuff going on, right?
Yeah, I just finished a video about the Chinese assault rifle not too long ago, and I provided plenty of real-world explanations using my own AK-47 and SKS in that. So if you want to know how the Chinese assault rifle works and the mechanics behind it, then check out my YouTube video, or check out my YouTube channel, Nova Gaming, or Supernova Gaming. I think that's it. I don't remember right now.
That's cool. That sounds like a really cool video. You guys should go check that out.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm currently working on one about ghouls right now, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. Well, good luck with all of that. And Maverick's here as well. Maverick has the Fallout Roundtable podcast. So if you want more conversations that are kind of like this, that's what his show is all about. Every episode, instead of what we do, is like once a month. So you can go check that out. It's part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club. That's the group that gets together, and I kind of help them get their podcasts started, really growing their audiences, cultivating ideas, doing those kinds of things. And we're always looking for new shows. And so if you are into podcasts, or you want to get into podcasts, that's a great place to start. You can also look for the video game podcasting book. Both of those things are available at robotsradio.net. I wrote a whole book about stuff, so if you're just dipping your toes in, that's a thing you can access too. And of course, all of my shows, robotsradio.net, for all the different Lorecasts I do, all the other shows on the network, lots of awesome content from some awesome creators. Go check that stuff out. That's what we got this week. Hopefully I'll see you guys again next week with another episode. After this, in about 30 minutes, we're doing the Elder Scrolls Lorecast chat episode, where we're talking about like legendary and Daedric items and which ones we would claim for ourselves. So I'm going to close the stream down, but I'm going to launch it again in about 20 minutes when we're getting that show ready to go. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Chat, thanks for being here as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. See you next time. Bye, everybody. To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Reach out to me on Twitter at robots_radio. Check out the Robots Radio Rocket Club, where you can join me and a bunch of our other creators creating your podcast, starting a new podcast, or helping your current podcast grow. There's more information about that on robotsradio.net as well. And you can always talk with us and the entire community, over 2,000 people on the Robots Radio Discord. Come join us. We'd love to chat with you. See you guys next time.